Hello everyone and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my round one draft grades. Last night we had the first round of the NFL draft. It was very exciting, so I'm going to be telling you what I thought of each pick, what were the steals of the draft, who won the draft, so I'm going to be breaking it down for you guys. And so without further ado, let's get right into the video with the number one overall pick. Trevor Lawrence went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, no surprise there. And as you can see, my grade for this pick is an A-. Why not an A? Why not an A+? Well, one, A+ picks are picks where I think you're going to be getting a lot of value. We all think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the number one pick, and the Jaguars took him at the number one pick. Now, why isn't he an A? Why isn't this pick an A? You may be asking me. And that's a good question to be asking. Well, if you've been following my channel closely, you would know that I have Zack Wilson as my quarterback one, just over Trevor Lawrence in this class. So actually, I think the Jaguars took the second best quarterback in this draft. Now, it is very close. I have them number 2 and 3 in my big board of my top 50 players, and they're great. They graded out pretty similarly. I just give Zack Wilson the nudge over Trevor Lawrence. But to me, I mean, that is worth an A-. I mean, very good pick. Lawrence will be phenomenal for the Jaguars. One of the better quarterback prospects you're going to see. I mean, he would be the number one pick in almost every draft. And Jaguars got a phenomenal talent. Super excited to see what Lawrence does there for Jacksonville. Then, at number 2 overall, we have the aforementioned Zack Wilson going to the New York Jets. A+ pick here for the Jets. I mean, I just told you my opinion. They got the best quarterback in the draft at number 2 overall. It is a steal at that number 2 spot, in my opinion. I mean, you're looking at an Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes type of player with his arm talent, his mobility, his ability to scan the field, be accurate on all layers of the field. Zack Wilson is very, very special. And as I said, just nudged out Trevor Lawrence in my quarterback rankings, which both of them were very great players. And Zack Wilson will have a day one impact with an offense that, just upgraded its offensive line. We'll talk about that a little bit later. A defense that hopefully can get things together under Robert Saleh. And you got some decent weapons around him as well. So this will be interesting to see how Zack Wilson plays out in New York. But I think he has all the tools to be a special player in the NFL. A+ pick there from the Jets. Then, at number 3, the 49ers took Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State University, and A+, another A+ pick here for the 49ers. This is phenomenal. This was the right choice, and this is a pick that the rest of the league should be scared of. To me, Lance was one of my guys. I had him as the quarterback 3 in this class, and a great prospect at that quarterback position. I mean, the talent with this guy is off the charts. His arm, his ability to move around the field, make guys miss, just run over guys, the arm talent, the deep ball, the touch on those deep balls, all phenomenal for Trey Lance. Stuff you don't see every day. You don't see that every year at the quarterback position, the tools that Trey Lance possesses. It's phenomenal. And the Niners see that in him. And by all accounts, I mean, he was a great intangibles guy. He was off the charts in terms of intangibles for the 49ers. And just a great dude, great kid. You pair him with Kyle Shanahan, that great defense. It adds an upside to this offense that just was not there before with Jimmy Garoppolo. And this is a team that could be very dangerous with Trey Lance for the next decade and more. So A+ pick there for the 49ers. Great job by Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Keeping it secret. We didn't know what was going to happen until the pick was announced. Neither did Trey Lance reportedly. Awesome job by the 49ers. They made the right pick. Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State, A+. Then, number 4 overall, Kyle Pitts. We have another A+. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to be giving every pick an A+. But in my opinion, this deserves one. We're talking about A pluses as picks where you get value. And the Falcons just sat at number 4 and took the best player in the class, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a player that is generational at the tight end position. You just do not ever see guys like Kyle Pitts. The way he moves, the way he dominates physically, the way he blocks, it is all special. And the Falcons took advantage of that, saw that greatness in Kyle Pitts, and they got the best player in the draft, in my opinion, the number 1 player on my big board, an absolutely generational talent at the number 4 overall pick, just sitting there and letting him fall into their lap. That is, you can't ask for much better than that. You cannot. Falcons couldn't have made a better pick there. That was the right pick. Now you got Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Kyle Pitts. Wow. A+ pick there for the Falcons. Great job. Now, another team, next pick, we got the Bengals taking Jamar Chase at number 5 overall, and this is an A. I think that it's not quite an A+ like the other picks. I think Jamar Chase is about the 4th or 5th best player in this class, and the Bengals took him there. But this is a great pick for the Bengals. Get the special talent at wide receiver that they saw in Jamar Chase and run with it. Because, just looking at it, the board right now, they're going to be able to get a quality alignment in the second that can do a lot of what Sewell can do. But the receivers on the board right now are just not Jamar Chase. So I like that pick from the Bengals. You get Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase reuniting. That's always exciting. That is one heck of a receiver group down there in Cincinnati. And the Bengals, Joe Burrow, have themselves their stud wide receiver, and Joe Burrow has himself his wide receiver 1. Now, number 6, we have Jalen Waddle going to the Dolphins. My grade here is a B. Now, another thing, if you have been monitoring my channel closely over the past few months, you would know that I think the best pick for the Dolphins would have been a quarterback. And being here at number 6 with the players available on the board, Justin Fields would have been the best pick for the Dolphins. And that's not the pick they made. And that bumps the grade down for me. Now, they did pick the best wide receiver on the board, in my opinion, in Jalen Waddle, a dynamic playmaker, great after the catch with the ball in his hands. You pair him with Devontae Parker, Will Fuller. That is a phenomenal group of playmakers there, and this will really test Tua. If he can't succeed with all these guys around him, then the problem is Tua, not the offense. So, again, I think that quarterback would have been the better pick here for the Dolphins, and I think that would have been the more impactful pick for sure. And that's why it's not an A-, A+ type of pick. But still, solid player in Jalen Waddle, my number 2 wide receiver. Speed, demon, great after the catch. Awesome player there, going to a team that looks to be sticking with Tua, and they're giving him the weapons to do so. Then number 7 overall, the Dolphins took Penei Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon. A grade here. Really nice pick. Loved this pick. They just sat there and let Penei Sewell, a blue chip type of prospect, fall right into their lap. Now, this was a borderline A to A+ type of pick. You're getting value here with Penei Sewell. This is one of the, quote, blue chip prospects left on the board, in my opinion. This guy, strong, physical, good technique, just dominant. That is the word to describe Penei Sewell. And this is a good pick for the Lions, who are trying to rebuild. Do that with your offensive line. You're not going to be throwing in Justin Fields into this Detroit offense and have him succeed. I think you build from the bottom up. Penei Sewell is a great way to start. Great addition to the O-line. Really solid pick there from the Lions. That's why it gets an A grade from me. Now, number 8, the Panthers took J.C. Horn, cornerback from South Carolina, and this was a pick I did not like too much. I gave it a C-, as you can see. J.C. Horn is definitely not a top 10 player in this class. Definitely not the best defensive player in the class, which the Panthers drafted him as. To me, he was more of a late first-round pick type of player. So, he's still a good player. I had him at 23 in my big board, and there is a lot to like with J.C. Horn. I just think 8 is a reach, especially with guys like Darrisaw and Slater, and then Surtain, who is a better cornerback prospect than J.C. Horn. All of those guys on the board, and you take my number 23 player in the class. Just not a huge fan of this pick. I was borderline D+, but Horn still is a solid player, and it was a position of need, so I gave him that C-. As you see, just not a fan of the Panthers pick there. That is the first pick I really do not like in this draft. Then at number 9, the Broncos selected Patrick Surtain II out of Alabama, cornerback. I give this pick a B. I do like Surtain quite a bit, and because of Farley's injuries and injury concerns, Surtain is my number 1 corner in the draft. So if that is where the Broncos were looking at, which they clearly were, this was the best guy that it could have taken. So definitely a good pick there. Doesn't blow me away. I think I would have rather seen them go a Justin Fields who's sitting there on the board. I would have rather seen them go with Micah Parsons, who I think is a better defensive player. And I would have loved to see in this defense for the Broncos a little bit more than Surtain, but still, this is a great pick. Surtain is going to have that day 1 cornerback impact. In that secondary, he's going to make an impact. Good pick here from the Broncos. I'm not crazy about it. I think I would have rather see them go somewhere else, but good pick here from the Broncos. And then the Eagles at number 10 traded up 2 spots. Rare rival trade there between the Cowboys and the Eagles. But the Eagles traded up, jumped the Giants to get their guy, Devontae Smith, wide receiver from Alabama. I give this an A-. Now, the Eagles traded up to get their guy. They clearly really wanted Devontae Smith, or at least a wide receiver. And Devontae Smith was the best guy on the board. Definitely at that point, I think, with all of the things he brings to the table. I mean, just great route running, quickness, smooth hips, pretty good athleticism. All of that just comes to the table here for Devontae Smith. And really makes him a guy that should be the Eagles wide receiver 1. Going to make that day 1 impact on the Eagles offense, gives Jalen Hurts his wide receiver 1. I do like this pick for the Eagles. Now, I'm not crazy about the fact that they traded up. I mean, that's why it's not an A or an A+, because the value just really isn't all there for me. I don't think Devontae Smith was clearly the best player on the board there for the Eagles, and I would have been totally fine with them taking a Micah Parsons at 12 or a player of a similar caliber. But still, very good pick there from the Eagles. Wide receiver 1 in Philly. Now, Devontae Smith. Great kid. I hope he succeeds. Then, at number 11, we had the New York Giants trade down while the Chicago Bears traded up to go and snag Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State. Now, this is an A+ pick here for the Bears. I love it. I mean, they went up and got their guy. It was a bold move, but that's what you got to do in the NFL if you want to be great. You got to make those bold moves. You got to go up and get your guy, and Justin Fields was the Bears' guy. Love the pick. I mean, you saw him sliding just a bit. Now, to 11. Nobody thought Fields was going to be there at 11, and he was. A guy like Fields is phenomenal. Now, he's my quarterback 4, but this is a great quarterback prospect. I mean, the athletic traits that he brings to the table, the mobility, the arm strength, the accuracy all over the field is phenomenal there with Justin Fields. Now, he does need to be coached up in some areas, but that's okay. Justin Fields has so much positive to his game that he is an elite quarterback prospect. And the Bears, they didn't have a quarterback. So go up and get your guy in Justin Fields. I mean, they were sitting there with Andy Dalton and Mitch Trubisky, who, let's be real, just were not the answers for the Bears. Now, Justin Fields can be that answer. He's the hope at quarterback for the Bears. Very excited to watch this kid play. Gets to learn from Andy Dalton, too. So that is definitely that's definitely valuable. Bears go up, grab their guy. One of the biggest stories of the draft. Get Justin Fields. I love it, love it, love it. Justin Fields to the Bears, A+. Then at number 12, the Dallas Cowboys selected Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. And you see it. It's an A+. This was one of my favorite picks of the first round. I absolutely loved this for Dallas. One, they traded down to number 12, got an extra pick later in the draft. That is definitely worth something. And then they traded down. Not only did they trade down, but they traded down and grabbed the best defensive player in the class. And one of my top 6 players on the board in Micah Parsons, who is a special blitzing linebacker that will be the centerpiece of that Cowboys defense. Now, this was we need help on defense. We can trade back and still get the best player in the draft. And that's why it's an A+. I mean, Jerry Jones said it. He said, we think that we have the chance to get the best defensive player in the class. And they did just that. They went and got Micah Parsons, big-time player, blitzes like no one else, thumper in the run game, good in the pass game. You just don't see linebacker prospects built like Micah Parsons, that can move like Micah Parsons, that can physically dominate like Micah Parsons every year. He is a phenomenal player going to a big-time organization, big-time player for a big-time organization. Love the pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons is that centerpiece, cornerstone guy in that Cowboys defense that desperately needed help. So A+ pick there for the Dallas Cowboys. Then, number 13, the Los Angeles Chargers selected Rashaan Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. And this pick to me is a B+ pick. Now, a lot of people are saying, steal of the draft. Nobody thought that Rashaan Slater was going to be there at number 13. And I agree. I didn't think he was going to be there either. But what I will say is, I think Christian Darrisaw is a better player than Rashaan Slater, and that's what makes this a B+. Now, I think Rashaan Slater is great for the Chargers and is my OC3 in this class, and it is very close between him and Darrisaw. But to me, Darrisaw was the better player on the board at the moment, and so this wasn't the best pick the Chargers could have made, and that's why it's a B+ for me. But Rashaan Slater, just super technically sound. You put him there with Brian Bulaga on the other side of the line, and you got a much upgraded offensive line, including Corey Linsley, who they got in free agency. So big time pick there for the Chargers. I do like it. I mean, that really helps out that O-line and really helps out Justin Herbert naturally. So Rashaan Slater, I like the pick. I just think Darrisaw was the better player on the board at that point, and I would have rather seen them go there. But good pick there for the Chargers at number 13. B+ for Rashaan Slater. Then at number 14, we saw the New York Jets trade up to select interior offensive lineman from USC, Elijah Vera Tucker. And to me, this is a B- pick. Now, I like Vera Tucker quite a bit, but the Jets did have to trade up 7 spots to get him, and I'm not too crazy about it. I don't think Vera Tucker is worth that. I don't think he was sitting on the board there as some guy that was just, you needed to trade up for him. Maybe the Jets just thought he was the guy and they had to trade up for him, but just in my opinion, he wasn't worth that jump. I think he's the 25th player on the board. I think there's plenty of great, deep interior offensive linemen, but Elijah Vera Tucker, nonetheless, is my best interior offensive lineman on the board and gives Zack Wilson some protection, which they desperately need. That rest of the line was a disaster besides Mekhi Becton. And so this gives them another nice piece there to work with on the interior. And Zack Wilson's going to need some protection. I mean, he was so used to it at BYU. And yes, he's good with his escapability and good with his arm talent. But every quarterback needs protection. Elijah Vera Tucker provides that for the Jets. And so you always love to see those picks on the offensive line that are really going to help out. And that's what Elijah Vera Tucker is for me. I just don't know if the trade-up was necessary. I think you could have gotten guys later in the draft that could also upgrade the offensive line similarly without having to trade up and still keeping that 23rd pick. And maybe even Elijah Vera Tucker is available there. So just not crazy about the trade-up, but I like the player a lot. And I think it is filling a position of need that will help out their offense quite a bit. Now, at number 15, we had the New England Patriots take Mack Jones, quarterback from Alabama. And this just fell into place for the Patriots in typical Patriots fashion. Just a few days ago, we were talking about number 3 overall, Mack Jones. No way he falls out of the top 10. I mean, I think he was minus 715 to go in the top 10 before the draft started. And what do you know? The Patriots just let him fall to him. And well, one thing, if you know my channel, you know I don't love Mack Jones. You know I don't love him. I think that his ceiling is capped because of his limited athleticism. But I think the Patriots just fits. I think you got Josh McDaniels. His offense ran around Tom Brady for 20 years. Now Mack Jones can be that Tom Brady-esque quarterback in his system. So the Patriots know how to run an offense like this. Mack Jones will be put in positions to succeed. So I like the fit, and I think that there was not many places that Mack Jones could have gone that would be better for him. So good pick there. I'm not crazy about it still because I don't love Mack Jones, but good pick, solid pick, A- there for Mack Jones to the Patriots. Then, number 16, we had the Arizona Cardinals taking Zaven Collins, linebacker from Tulsa. And to me, this is a B pick. I like Zaven Collins as a player. Now, this pick doesn't wow me, and that's why it's not higher, a B+, A-, A type of pick. I think it is more of a B pick. It is a solid pick. I just think there's better guys on the board, and notably Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at the same position, who I think is a top 10 player in this class. Now, he's still on the board, which is crazy, but I get why they took Collins. Different players, definitely, between JOK and Collins is just that big physical freak, physical specimen, very strong dude, and he's different than Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and I get it. I get why you would want a Zaven Collins in your defense. Just isn't the best guy at the position, and also just not too much value there, in my opinion. But Zaven Collins, a physical freak, going to go into the center of that Cardinals defense, make an impact, and he's got a lot of upside. I mean, we saw that, just a lot of great ability there. See him flying around the field at his size is really special. So Zaven Collins, 16, good pick there for the Cardinals. Doesn't blow me away, but good pick. Then, number 17, I'm going to try to move through these back half picks a little bit quicker because I don't want you guys to be sitting here forever. But number 17, we had Alex Leatherwood going to the Raiders, and this was a lot of people's least favorite pick of yesterday. It was one of mine as well. Alex Leatherwood to the Raiders gets a D-, as you can see. I like Alex Leatherwood. I do. He was in my top 50. I thought he was an early second round type of player. He has a lot of nice things about him. But Raiders, why are you taking him in the middle of the first round? With Christian Darrisaw, Samuel Cosmi, Walker Little, Tevin Jenkins, all on the board. Why? Why, Raiders? It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, it is a position of need for them. I think offensive line was a pick that I do like, but it's just Leatherwood? Leatherwood? Really, Raiders? Really? Another messed up first round pick for the Raiders. Well, I don't know what they're doing there in the front office, but something needs to change. Now, I'd be happy if Leatherwood proved me wrong here. I just don't think he is a first round guy, especially with all those other guys that were so talented on the board that the Raiders passed up on to take Alex Leatherwood. Now, so D- there for the Raiders. Disappointing pick. Another just botched first rounder, in my opinion, by John Gruden and co. Now on the flip side, we just talked about a horrible pick. At number 18, the Miami Dolphins selected Jalen Phillips, edge rusher from Miami. And this is an A-plus pick. This is a steal. Jalen Phillips is a top 7 player in this class, my 7th best player in this class, a truly elite edge rusher prospect. I've heard a lot of people say, there is not really a great edge rusher in this class. Are you kidding me? Jalen Phillips is sitting right there on the board, and he is a great edge rusher. I mean, physicality, speed, power, everything. Burst, agility, it's there with Jalen Phillips. Now, the biggest worries are his injuries, the concussions. He's already retired from football once. What is the case there with him? I'm not sure, but just the player that the Miami Dolphins got there at 18 was the best player on my board, a elite prospect there in Jalen Phillips. The Dolphins got a steal there. A-plus pick. A-plus pick there for Brian Flores and that Dolphins organization. So great job by them finding and recognizing the elite talent that Jalen Phillips possesses. Then at number 19, the Washington football team selected Jamin Davis, linebacker, Kentucky. Now, Washington. We just talked about the Raiders taking Alex Leatherwood and passing up on Christian Darrisaw, Samuel Kosmi, Walker Little, Tevin Jenkins. You took Jamin Davis and passed up on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, a top 10 player in the class, Jabril Cox, who is one of my favorite sleeper players in this class, and Nick Bolton, who's a day one plug-and-play, pro-ready guy for Jamin Davis, who's a guy that I didn't have in my top 50. At least Alex Leatherwood was in my top 50. Jamin Davis wasn't. Washington passed on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, one of the freakiest guys in this class, for Jamin Davis, who's played 11 games in college, really struggled in pass coverage at Kentucky and wasn't asked to do it much. People like to talk about his athleticism, which I get. I mean, he has some pretty good straight line speed, but ask him to change directions and really cover a guy man to man, which he'll probably have to do at some points in the NFL. He doesn't do it well. Again, pass coverage instincts are just not really there for Jamin Davis. And had some tackling issues as well. A guy that doesn't really play with elite play strength. That all goes against Jamin Davis for me. And I just don't see how you can take him over Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, especially. And then there's 2-3 other guys that are like above Jamin Davis, besides Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So Washington, what are you doing? At number 19, you took the 4th best linebacker on the board who wasn't in my top 50. It just confuses me. It baffles me. This is a D- pick. Now, he's not horrible. I thought he was maybe a late 2nd round, early 3rd round type of guy. And they took him in the mid 1st, which is just not good. Again, that's why it's a D-. It's not an F, though, because It was a position of need, and they did take at least a half-decent player there. So Washington gets a D-. I was close to putting it to an F, but I gave him the D-. So that's my rant on Washington taking Jamin Davis. Now at number 20, the New York Giants took Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from Florida, and I give this pick a C-. I'm not a huge fan. One, Kadarius Toney was not my best receiver on the board, not even really remotely close. I had De'Ami Brown, Terrace Marshall, and Rashad Bateman over Kadarius Toney at this point. So, not the best guy on my board. And then secondly, I don't think it's a great fit for Kadarius Toney. I mean, Kadarius Toney is a guy that is a second-round talent, in my opinion, because of his after-the-catch ability. That is special. And in the other areas of his game, I don't think he's quite so special. So, you want a team for Kadarius Toney that's going to use what he's very good at. And I don't think the Giants are that team. I mean, we look at the offense over the past couple of years, Daniel Jones, that is a very vertical offense with Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard running down the field, and there wasn't much underneath going on there. So now, you can't really just have Kadarius Toney running down the field. You're going to have to find ways to use him. I think they can do it, and he's still a good wide receiver, but just don't love the fit. I don't think he's going to be consistently put in positions where he can use his strength, where he's special, and that's after the catch. So not a huge fan of the fit, and there are better guys on the board for the Giants there at that pick. So Kadarius Toney, C-, that's that. Then, number 21, the Indianapolis Colts selected Kwity Paye, edge rusher from Michigan, and I do like this pick quite a bit. A pick there for the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts continue to do a great job drafting. He will fit right in there, day one, in Indianapolis's defense. Solidify that line even more. I mean, you add him with DeForest Buckner. Those two guys are forces to be reckoned with. Kwity Paye will be comfortable right away, making an impact. Dude is twitchy, he's strong, he's explosive, he is hard to deal with. He was the 16th best player on my board. The Colts got him here at 21 at a position that I love to see them upgrade at, which is edge rusher. Kwity Paye, A grade, nice pick there from Indianapolis. Then, number 22, the Titans selected Caleb Farley, cornerback from Virginia Tech, and I give this a B. Now, Caleb Farley, to me, is a top 5-6 talent in this class, removed from his injury issues. But the injury issues are just so concerning that for me, they drop him all the way down to the 26th best player in this class. Now, I knew some team was going to look at Caleb Farley and say, let's shoot for the moon. Let's go for it. Let's take the risk on the supremely talented guy that has that injury risk. Tennessee was the team. I wasn't necessarily very much expecting that. I didn't know that they were the team that was going to take the risk. I'm okay with it. I think it's a pretty good pick. Now, I'm not in love with it. Again, they drafted them at 22, 26 on my board. That's not too big of a deal. But the bigger thing that I want to say is, are the Titans really the team that can take the risk? Are the Titans the team that are in a position to take a guy that is as risky as Caleb Farley? I mean, this is a team that is deteriorated in the secondary. I mean, they've lost a lot of their guys. They lost a lot of guys on offense as well. And so I think for them to really stay competitive, they need a guy that they can stick in there and be a sure thing as a replacement for those guys that they lost. I think that's what they need, more than a risky guy. I just don't think they're right now in a position, a team that's trying to stay competitive, because they have been the past couple of years, to take a guy risky like Caleb Farley. Now, okay, I said they're not in a position to do it, that's just me picking this pick apart. I think it is still a good pick. They shot for the stars. They were the team that did it, and I do like that. I do like it. But I just don't know if the Titans are the right team for that. And so that's not why it's a B+, A-, A territory there at pick 22. So Caleb Farley, pretty solid pick. So that pick gets a B from me. Then at number 23, the Minnesota Vikings, who traded back, got Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. A+ pick here. A+ pick. Beautiful job by the Minnesota Vikings trading back and getting the second best offensive tackle in the entire class. Just great job. I don't have much to say about it. I mean, Darrisaw is a big, powerful, mauler kind of guy. He's going to be an immediate impact on that Vikings O-line. That's just a player that you can't pass up on at that point. The Vikings traded down and got him. Awesome pick. Awesome pick there for the Vikings. A+. Not much else to say there. Great job by them. Then, with the 24th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers took Najee Harris, running back from Alabama. Steelers. What are you doing? Have you not learned from every other team that has taken a running back in the first round ever? Have you not watched Mike Davis go in and basically play Christian McCaffrey's role to the same level? To me, this pick just doesn't make sense. Running backs in the NFL are replaceable. They are. And using a first-round pick, which is such a valuable thing in the NFL, on a running back just does not make sense, and it never works out. There were several guys on the board who would have provided the Steelers with more value than Najee Harris. And not even that, not even just that. He was the third best running back they could have taken. So one, he's a running back, and two, he's the third best one. Come on, Steelers. You're better than that. F pick there for the Steelers. Just yikes. Then, what do you know? With the 25th pick in the NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars took Travis Etienne, running back from Clemson. Do I need to explain this one again? F. All right, let's move on. Number 26, Cleveland took Greg Newsome II, cornerback from Northwestern. And this was an interesting pick for me because I don't like Greg Newsome much. He wasn't in my top 50 players, but Newsome does fit Cleveland pretty well. Cleveland is more of a zone type of defense, and that's what Newsome does well. He's more of a zone guy. That's what they did at Northwestern, so I think he will fit into this defense and look pretty good while doing it. But I just don't like him that much. I think there's better guys that they could have gotten that could play similar roles, and I just don't think Newsome is versatile enough. I don't think he's athletic enough to keep up with the best wide receivers in the league. I just don't think he's a first-round talent in that way. So, to me, I like the fit, but I just don't like the player. And sometimes the fit can be as good as it can be, but the player just isn't good enough. So, C+ there for Cleveland. Not a huge fan of Greg Newsome. Not a huge fan of that pick, but I get where they're coming from. And then at number 27, the Baltimore Ravens took Rashad Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota. I give this pick a B. It's okay. It's fine. A lot of people love this pick. I'm not feeling the same way. I think Rashad Bateman is a good wide receiver, but I think there were two better guys on the board that the Ravens could have taken. De'Ami Brown from North Carolina and Terrace Marshall from LSU. Now, I don't hate the Rashad Bateman pick. I get where they're coming from, and I think it is a good fit. I mean, Rashad Bateman is an underneath to intermediate separator. He will get separation quickly. And, I mean, the routes he ran at Minnesota, the role he played in Minnesota, will fit beautifully into the Ravens' passing offense, which is a lot of short, simple routes run by the wide receivers. Bateman can create separation quickly, but the athleticism, how is that going to come in with Rashad Bateman? How much is it going to hurt him? We'll see. I think it's an okay pick there for Baltimore. Don't love it. B for Rashad Bateman to the Ravens. Then number 28, the New Orleans Saints took Peyton Turner. Surprised a lot of people, and a lot of people don't like this pick. I do. B+. Peyton Turner was one of my guys in this draft. Now, I don't think it's a steal. I'm not giving it an A because I had him just about here in my board. And good pick. Good pick for the Saints. I mean, Peyton Turner is a strong, athletic, freaky player. His explosiveness just pops off the tape. It'll continue to pop off the tape in New Orleans, most likely. They must really like him. I like the pick. Not in love with it. It's not an A, but I think this was the right place for him to go. Around 28, late first round. This was a solid pick there from the Saints, getting Peyton Turner, edge rusher from Houston. Then, 29, the Green Bay Packers took Eric Stokes, cornerback from Georgia. And this is a C. Just a pick from the Packers. And the reason it's an pick is because, one, I think they could have gotten better players at that position. Ifeatu Melifonwu from Syracuse. His own teammate, Tyson Campbell. Those are guys I would have rather seen here to the Packers than Eric Stokes. And then there was other positions that they could have gone as well. I mean, again, Jeremiah Usu-Koramoah still on the board. Maybe you're looking at a De'Ami Brown here, who would be beautiful on this offense. Maybe you're looking at a Terrace Marshall, who are all picks I would have rather seen here for the Packers than Eric Stokes. So it's just a meh. I get where they're coming from. Cornerback is a position of need, and Eric Stokes is a cornerback that has some nice traits to him, but just a pick for the Packers. That's how I describe it. C there for Eric Stokes. Then at number 30, the Buffalo Bills took Gregory Rousseau, edge rusher from Miami. A pick there for the Bills. I mean, people love to hate on Rousseau. They've been hating on him recently in this draft process. I have him as a top 20 player in this class, and the Bills got some good value here at 30. That's why it's an A. I think he may have been the best player on their board, and the Bills needed an edge rusher desperately. Rousseau is lanky, he's strong, he's physical, and a lot of room to develop. A lot of great upside there for Rousseau. Plug him into that Bills defense up front and gives them a freak. It gives them some upside up front they just didn't have before. So Rousseau could be scary there for the Bills. Definitely watch out. So A for the Bills. I like that pick a good amount. Then at number 31, the Baltimore Ravens, with their second pick of the first round, took Odafe Oweh, or formerly known as Jason Oweh, but he announced Odafe is what he wants to be called, and I love it. What a great name. But I also love the pick. I mean, I was thinking about an A+ here for the Ravens. Really, I was. I mean, Oweh is a guy with all the traits in the world at the edge rusher position. I mean, the speed, the strength, the agility, the explosiveness, it is all there for Jason Oweh, and that's why he was the number 22 player on my board. All of those reasons. And yes, there's some technical things that need to be worked out in his game. But what better team to do that than the Baltimore Ravens and take advantage of a freak like Jason Oweh. I mean, one, they're going to give this guy a lot of opportunity to rush the passer. We know Baltimore loves to get after the quarterback. And two, I mean, they have been great at developing defensive players. Edge rusher, I mean, you look at it, Matt Judon, Zadarius Smith. Those guys were later round draft picks without nearly the talent that Oweh possesses. So this is a scary pick there for Baltimore. Oweh is a freaky dude with a lot of potential on a defense that loves to rush the passer and develops pass rushers well. A pick there for the Ravens. Really like that pick. Considered A+, but I went A because I didn't think it was an absolute steal. Then 32, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the final pick of the first round, took Joe Tryon, edge rusher from Washington. And I just didn't love this pick. As you can see, I gave it a D. Joe Tryon is not one of my favorite guys. I thought he was more of a third-round talent when I watched him. The size was underwhelming. His strength was underwhelming. And I don't know if that's going to show up at Tampa Bay. Now, he did have some nice explosiveness, have some nice plays here and there. He was pretty quick, but he was all over the place. He needed a pass rush play, and he didn't really have it. He was tripping. He was running into other guys. He played like a pit bull that wasn't a pit bull. He played like a chihuahua trying to be a pit bull. That's one way to describe it. So that's what Joe Tryon is a little bit more to me. Now, it is interesting because the Buccaneers have done a great job drafting, so I definitely give some credence to that pick. They liked him. They like him for a reason, and I get it, but to me, he's just not a first-round pick, and I think he's more of a third-round guy because he's just doesn't possess elite strength or physicality right now. So, Joe Tryon, not a huge fan. D pick there for the Buccaneers. Yeah. All right. Those are my grades for round one of the draft. 47 minutes is what we're at right now. Thank you so much for listening. I know it was a long video. I hope you enjoyed, though. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you think won the first round of the draft? Was it your team? Did you like your team's pick? Comment down below. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, until next time, peace.